quick heads up, stick around to the end of this video. This puzzle contains a different kind of Sudoku secret. Hello and welcome to a special edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be taking a look at a puzzle by a brand new setter to the channel. Kuraban set this one, and Kuraban I think goes by the pseudonym Blairos on our Discord server, and it's the real name of Blair Giles. And we had a touching email from Blair recently where he described how he and his partner Amanda have basically spent a lot of time watching Cracking the Cryptic videos over the strange circumstances that the world has found itself in over the last year. Well, Blair and Amanda, you are not alone. Now, Amanda is apparently a budding solver, and she asked Blair to create a puzzle for her, and that is the puzzle you can see on your screen here. It's called Love Heart, which is rather charming, and we sent it to our testers to see what they thought of it, and they reported back that this is a very, very fine puzzle indeed. So we're going to be trying it on the channel. I'll read you the rules now. And what do we have to do? We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Along thermometers, digits must increase from the bulb end. So that's normal thermometer rules. Let's look at a thermometer. Here we go. Here's a thermometer. Basically, we've got to put a low digit, well, any digit in the bulb. And then like mercury rising, as the temperature rises, we've got to make sure the numbers increase as we move along the thermometer. So we could do something like that. That would be absolutely fine. What else have we got? We've got in cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage, and digits cannot repeat within a cage, so normal killer Sudoku rules. So there's a 25 cage there. Basically, these 5 cells have to sum to 25, and you mustn't repeat a digit. Digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in that arrow's circle/pill. Yes, okay, look, we have a pill today. So normal arrow rules, what does it say? Oh, it's right, okay. It says the 2-digit pill total is read from top down. Right, so I understand. Right, so let's look at a normal arrow. Basically, this circle is the sum of those 2 digits. That's how arrows normally work. Now, for the pill, I think what we do is we have to look at those 5 cells, we add them up, and let's say that gave us 17. This would be a 1 and this would be a 7. Because we have to read this as from the top downwards, so the top digit, if you like, is going to be the tens digit, and the bottom digit will be the units digit. So that's how our pill works. I think there's only one pill. And digits in cells separated by x must sum to 10. Not all x's are given. So I can see 2 x's. So basically that means those 2 digits there have to sum to 10, those 2 digits there have to sum to 10, and it's absolutely fine for other dominoes to add to 10. You know, if those 2 cells sum to 10, that would be fine. There doesn't have to be an X between every domino that sums to 10 in the puzzle. We just know specifically those 2 definitely do add to 10, and those 2 definitely add up to 10. So do have a go. Oh, one more thing I was asked to mention is that the purple heart here is here for ornamentation. Very fine and very beautiful it is too, and it reminds me of those sweets I used to eat when I was young, Love Hearts, which is coincidentally the name of the puzzle, and I wonder if that's the reason why. So do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking and see how we do this now. There's a gimme. We've got a 1-cell cage. Well, I can do that. That's got to be a 1. That's very generous of Blair. Now, that makes me wonder if we can use the secret on row 6, look. Now, if you don't know what the secret is, hang on, let me just have a look, 1432. I'm not sure whether the secret matters, but I will let you in on the secret anyway. So the secret is to do with the sum of those digits. Now we know any correct complete row of a Sudoku will contain all of the digits from 1 to 9. If you add up those digits, you get 45. So have a look at this row. We know we're going to be able to work out the value of those 2 cells. We've got 13, 14, 32 in those 7 cells. So to make the whole row add up to 45, these 2 are going to have to add up to 13. And yes, that is probably unhelpful. Although I will qualify that by saying that the 18 cage now has to have a 2 and a 3 in it. And I know that because if those two digits sum to 13, they can't have a 2 or a 3 in them unless the other one is an 11 or a 10, and that won't work. And similarly, you can't put 2 or 3 in this domino for exactly the same reason. So this 18 cage does have a 2 and a 3. But with that, I will accept we probably need to look at something else. Row 4. That's a little bit more promising. Look, we've got a 25 and a 15 cage, so they add to 40, which means those two peripheral cells must add up to 5. So they've got to be selected from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can't put certain digits halfway along thermometers. Those digits are 1 and 9. Why can't you put a 1 in here? Well, you'd have to put a 0 in there, and that really won't work. Similarly, you can't put a 9 here because that would have to be a 10. So don't put 1s and 9s in the middle of thermometers. So that means this square is not a 4, because if these add to 5 and this can't be a 1, this can't be a 4. So we're playing ping pong over the left and right side of the grid here. And I guess, yeah, okay, if this has to be a relatively low digit and it's on a thermo, look, this square has to be lower than a maximum of 4. So that's got to be 1, 2, or 3, which is a bit interesting. So 2 or 3 things are catching my eye now. The first thing is this row, where it's not that good. I was wondering whether we could use the secret on row 5. We've got 21 here, plus a maximum of 3, which is 24, which means those 3 squares are a minimum of 21, which is not quite high enough for me to be able to know useful things about them, especially as they've got 2 thermometer ends in there, in that triple. The other thing I was wondering about, I wasn't really worrying about it, but maybe I should have been worrying, is this. Because normally, this cell is interesting to me, because normally when you have a 3-cell arrow where you can't repeat a digit, the thing I would do would be to write in 6, 7, 8, 9 into the circles, because obviously the minimum we could put into any one of these arrows would be a 1, 2, 3 triple, which gives us a 6 total as a minimum. But here, this cell is doing double duty. Yes, okay. So if we think about what's the minimum I can make all 5 of those cells, if I put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into these 5 cells, what does that mean the minimum circles total is? Well, it's not 15, it's not the sum of these digits, because this cell counts on both arrows. So even if we put a 1 there, if we do something like this, you can see although these cells add to 15, because this counts on both arrows, the minimum for the circles is 16. And if it's 16, you can't put 6 into either of those squares, because the other one would have to be 10. That's quite interesting. Which does what exactly? Does it do more than that? I don't know. Okay, so maybe we... 32. I was wondering about the secret on row 2. I keep trying to use the secret. It keeps not availing itself of me, or to me. Those 6 cells, look, add to 32. Let's add 7 to that for the minimum. That's 39. So the maximum value of these squares is 6. But that's a bulb and an arrow cell, so that's not actually terribly surprising. What about the pill? The tens digit of the pill. I probably should have started here, you know. Oh, bobbins. Yeah, let's look at this. This must be restricted. Right. What's the maximum value of those 5 cells? Well, if we put 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 onto the arrow, that would only add up to 35. So the tens digit must be a 1, 2, or a 3. I'm pretty sure it can't be a 1. No, it can't be a 1 for some very simple reasons. If this is a 1, well, what's the minimum of those 5 cells? Let's do it that way. The minimum I could make those 5 cells would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which add to 15. Now, if this is a 1, I can't actually even make this domino add to 15, and I've even used the 1 here, which means that the value of that couldn't be 15 anyway. So this is definitely not a 1. This is at least a 2. And to be honest, I'm thinking 2 is tricky as... 20... this is beautiful. Right, this can't be 2 either, for a different reason. Now, if this is 2, this could be 3, and this might work because we'd have these 5 squares adding to 23, plus 2 plus 3 is 28, which means there is enough latitude here to make this domino add to the 17 we need to make the column add to the secret 45. But that requires this to be an 8-9 pair, which it cannot be because it's on an arrow. And what we cannot do is write 17 into this square. So this cannot be a 2. And it obviously can't, we can't go 21 or something. This is just complete. This is getting bigger then, and we mustn't make this bigger. We need this to reduce down so that this can be a single digit total. So that's a 3. Now this digit is, it's not 3, therefore it's 1 or 2. Which means that one is, let's ping pong across again. So this can't be 2 anymore. That doesn't affect the bulb over here. So if this is 31, yeah, lovely. Okay, this is not 31, because if it's 31, those 5 cells are adding to 31, plus 3 plus 1 is 35, which means to make the secret true, these have to add to 10, and we can't put 10 in that cell. So this is 32 by force, and that probably means this is a 9. So we've got 32, 34, 30, 8. Why have I... Oh, yeah, okay, I see. I see why. I was thinking that was going to reduce 1 degree of freedom, but actually moving this from 31 to 32 has 2 effects. A, this digit itself has got bigger, but also this total has got bigger. So we actually, by upping this from 1 to 2, we lose 2 digits from this cell's possibility. So, and this is lovely, look. Once this is 32... and this is therefore 8 because it represents the sum of these digits. Now it can't be 2, 6 or 3, 5, so that's 1, 7. This is not 8 anymore. This 9 cage can't be 1, 8, 2, 7 or 3, 6, so that's 4, 5. This is on the thermometer, so this has to be a lower digit than 4 or 5. Well, it can't be 4 because the 4 is definitely there. It can't be 3 and it can't be 1. That's a 2 by 4. So that means 2 lives... Now, this is quite interesting. 2's in one of those 3 squares, but it can't be here because that would break the bulb of the thermo. You'd have to go 2, 1, 0, and you can't put 0 in. So these 2 squares are a 6, 9... Whoa! I did not mean to press that. I just lost my army. That was a lot of information on that as well. Was that yeah, look at all the options now in the options thing. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's get back to solving. So maybe the 12 cage. We've got 2. These have to add to 10. So this is a 1 or a 4. Which might be useful or might not. I know what I can do. Yes, I can. Right. Let's ask a simple question about what digit must be in that sequence of digits here on the arrows. And that digit is 1. Because if there is no 1 in this 5-cell sequence, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 add to 20. And you can't make those 2 squares add to 20 unless you're going to resort to double-digit numbers, which we must not do. So one of these digits is a 1, and therefore that square is a 7. That's a 1. That's become a 9. That becomes a 6. That becomes a 9. That becomes a 1. Now, what does that mean? That means 1 lives in one of those squares. It means that we can probably use the secret again on row 2, I'm thinking, because now those 3 squares add to 10. 10 and 23 is 33. These add to 12. Beautiful. Beautiful. What's this digit? Given these two have to add to 12, this has to be a 3, 4 or a 5, and it can't be a 4 or a 5, so it's a 3. This is a 9. Now this is interesting because we know what the double digit is. If you think about what cells we've got to choose from here, we know this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triple, which adds to 15, but we know that the total for the two arrows is 18. So which digit do we double? We're going to have to double the 3. And that... oh, and there's no 1 there. Ah, okay. So this 9 arrow now must be a 2, 3, 4 arrow. Because we know there's a 3 on the arrow and there can't be a 1. And then those two squares then... Oh, I see. Okay, they're 1, 5. So this is 1, 5, 3. And this is 3, 2, 4, and they both add up to 9, and that looks beautiful. So, what shall we look to now? We shall... Can we do any Sudoku maybe? We can place 2 in one of those squares, 4 in one of these 3 squares. That would be a 4, 8 pair. Oh, I'm not actually... Oh, I know what I can do. Simple stuff like revisit what I did earlier. These two squares had to add up to 5, didn't they? So that must be a 3, which means that's a 1 or a 2. Oh, bother. I'm not sure that's useful, actually. We know this square's higher than 3. That doesn't really limit it. What am I meant to look at now? That is the question. 8's going to be difficult in this column. 8 could go here. Can you put 8? You can't put 8 there because 9 would go on the arrow. You can't put 8 here, interestingly, because this arrow would have to sum to 9, which is impossible. Yeah, okay. So, so this is... You could put 8 here, though. 8 is in one of those two squares. That's almost good, but not quite good enough. Do I have a way of... I will just purple those, just to remind myself of that. What cage is that? Is that 12? It's a 12. Oh, there's something simple. This is a 12 cage. Well, it can't be 3, 9, and it can't be 5, 7. That's a 4, 8. Oh, this is gorgeous. Right. This is 4, 8. So that's not 4. But more interestingly, now where does 8 go in the column? It can't go in my purple square anymore. It's got to go in this purple square. Which means this arrow now can't have 3, 5 on it. So this arrow is either 1, 7 or 2, 6. And the interesting thing about that is this cell is also on a thermo and cannot be a 1 or a 2 without this becoming a 0. So we actually sort of know the order of this. We get a 1, 2. Look, we get a 1, 2 pair in the column, which gives us a 5 up here and a 1 here. This row still needs 5s, 6s and 7s on it, so that's a 6 or a 7. These are 5, 6s and 7s. We've now got a 6, 7 and a 1, 2 pair in column 1. So that square at the bottom is a 4, which means this square's got to be a 2 or a 3 because it can't be a 1 and it's on a thermo. And that means what exactly? I don't know is the honest answer. Let's think about this. Do we know enough to use anything? Hang on, I can use the secret. Yeah, we looked at this at the start. The secret on row row 6, look, these had to add up to 13 if I remember rightly. So now we've got an 8 here. This is a 5, which I don't think is doing very much, unfortunately. This square, see, if this was a 4, this would be very limited. This would be limited to 1 or 2. 1 in box 8 can't be on the end of a thermo, so 1 in box 8 is in one of those 2 squares. We've got a 5 cage here. This can't, this square can't be a 1 or a 3, so that's a 2 or a 4. That's a 1 or a 3. 2. Right, this is important, because if this can't be a 2, and it can't be because this can't be a 3, look what that does. It puts 2 here, which fixes this square as a 1, which fixes this square as a 1. This is really intricate. That means this is a 2 now. That means that we now know that the 8 arrow is a 1, 7 arrow, which gives us a 6 up here, which gives us a 5, 7 pair here. That doesn't resolve this thermo. And those 2 squares have got to be a 2, 7 pair. So this is 2, 7. And what are those squares? 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8, I think. Yeah, that looks nice. Now, I'm not sure I can use it. I could use this thermo if this was a 7. But if it's a 2, obviously this could be 6 or 8. So, what else have we learnt now? Maybe... 1 second, just give me a second. We can... Have I used all my secrets up? I have a feeling I have, unfortunately. So... I've now got a 2 here, so that's 23. So these are adding to 22, which means one of the blue squares must be a 9. That doesn't seem restricted. 18. Oh, I've got an X. Look, I've got an X here. This is important because it can't be 1, 9, it can't be 4, 6, and it can't be 3, 7. That is a 2 and an 8. Oh, this is lovely, actually. Look, this is a 2, 8 pair. Well, that can't be a 2 because it's on the thermo, and you'd have to put 1.5 in here. So that's 8, that's 2, that's 8, that's 4. This has become a 3. What's remaining in those 3 squares? 5, 6s, and 9s. Right, you can't put 9 in the 13 cage because you'd have to repeat the 2 to make it work. So this is a 5, 6 pair going along with our 2 here. This 2 is fixing the 4, which means this square's become a 1. Where does... Oh, lovely, yeah. Where does 1 go in box 6? It's not here because of Sudoku, and it's not here because this would have to be a 0 on the thermo. So 1 goes there. 1 goes here. Have we done the 1s? We have. We've just finished all the 1s. 2s then. Yes, we can carry on with 2s up there. Oh, lovely. This is a 7, so this has got to be higher. So that disambiguates the 8 and the 6. Let's have a look along this row because we seem to have done damage to it. 3, 8s and 9s to place. That can't be a 3 because that would have to be a 1, which it can't be because of the thermo. So that's 8 or 9. Oh, that's 8 or 9 because it sees 3. So there's only one place for a 3 in row 8. Now this 25 cage. We've got, these add up to 20. Oh, we could use the secret again, look. Yes, yeah, look. This is 18, this is 25, and this is 1. 43, 44. Right. Yeah, okay, the simple way of doing this actually is to just deduct 3 from this total. So that's 22, those 4 squares. That's 40. That's 41, so this has got to be a 4 to make the row add up. And that, well, that's not really done anything. Right, we need 6s, 8s, and 9s down column 9. 6, 8, and 9. That can't be 8. We need... What else do we need? Come on. Maybe we could limit this digit because of the 18 cage, look. So, if this is a 5, there must be a 9 in here because there's no 9 there. So there's definitely a 9 and either a 6, which would, this is good. This has to be 3 or 4, depending on whether the 9 is joined by a 5 or a 6. Well, look, there's a 4 here. So that must be 3. This must be 9 and 6, which means this is a 5, this is a 6, which means, where does the 5 go in this box? It's not there because this would have to be an 8, so the 5 goes here. And that means, what does it mean? Have we got any easy wins here? The answer is I'm not sure. We have got an easy win here. This 15 cage has a 1 in it. So these are adding to 14 and they are not 5, 9. So these are 6, 8 and there's a 6 there. So that's 6, that's 8. This is not 8. Therefore this is 8 in column 9. This is 9, which isn't that surprising. It's at the end of its thermo, look. 8 has to make an appearance in one of those two squares. And it could be on the thermo. Can we do anything with this x? I'm just wondering. It can't be 1, 9 or 4. Yes, we can. Look at this. This x can't be 1, 9 or 4, 6. And I can't have a 2 on it. So it can't be 2, 8. So it's 3, 7. There's a 3 here. 3 goes in. 7 goes in. 7 and 5 go in. And that might be really useful. There's no 3 in those squares now. So there's a 3 in one of these two positions, which has to be that one in the bulb of the thermo because of this 3. Therefore, this is higher than 3, but less than 9. Oh, I think it's got too many options to be too interesting. What about those two squares? Yeah, one of those is a 9, and you can't put 9 in the bulb, so that becomes 9. This becomes 4. These are 6, 7, and 9. And the only ones, a pair of those that add up to 13 are the 6 and the 7. So the 7, the 6, the 9 go in. This is 9 by the power of Sudoku. That means that's 9 and that's 6, and that's the first 3 columns done. These two squares are a 2, 4 pair, which we can write in. Let's just check this 18 is working, and it is. Lovely. These two squares have got to be 5 and 8, and we can do those as well. Now we can just make this total work. So we've got 21 here. At the moment we've got 9 and 8, 17. This should be a 4, which looks possible. So that's 4 and 5 go in. This 9 is telling me this square is a 6. This is a 9. This should be a 7. That should be a 7. So what do we need here? We need 5s and 6s. Yeah, this is working nicely now. I think we're on the home straight. 2s and 3s. So that's a 3, that's, oh no, I don't like that. Why don't you scan better? There's a 3 here, Simon. 2 and 5, I should be saying. 5 goes here, 2 goes here. This is an 8, 7 pair, so we can do that. And we're just going to get left with the 2, 4 pair at the top, and that's how to finish, I think, the puzzle. Yes. Absolutely gorgeous. There was a lot of very nice moments in that, and I love the fact it kept tricking me. I kept thinking I needed the secret, and I didn't really need the secret. I needed the pill. This pill did really a lot of work, and I loved the way that it worked in conjunction with this arrow up here. But there is something I need to tell you about this puzzle. Now Blair has asked me to point out to Amanda that there is in fact a very, very special message hidden in the clues to the cages to this puzzle. All I'll say is that we are very, very anxious, well, very, very anxiously awaiting news of the answer, Amanda. Please, please let us know. And thanks so much for watching. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Now, I've just heard some news from Blair and Amanda. Let me explain what's going on in the puzzle. I'm sure you've all figured it out by now. If you look at these cage totals, and if you consider the alphanumeric equivalent of the number 23, it's the 23rd letter of the alphabet. That would be a W. The 9th letter is an I. The 12th letter is an L. There's another L here. Will you This is the reason for this single cell cage with the 1 in it. It needed to be a 1 for the A. Marry me. This was a proposal, and Blair did indeed ask Amanda to marry him, and I am delighted to tell you that she has said yes. So huge congratulations from the two of us. I've got a picture of the ring here. Blair apparently made the ring, which is Damascus steel and emerald, and Blair made it himself, which sounds incredibly difficult, but well done, Blair. And yeah, congratulations from all of us here at Cracking the Cryptic. We're absolutely thrilled for you. We're thrilled to be a small part of it. Thanks very much for watching this special edition of Cracking the Cryptic.